Now that you've finished installing the wpPopWizard software, you're ready to actually start to set up some of the pop-ups you're going to be using in your content. To get to the screen where you've got the selections, just go to the wpPopWizard and click, and you'll see these options appear here. You've got the tabs going across the page, and then you've got the show, hide and add item. Now this is the one we want to look at to begin with, because this is where we actually build our pops that we're going to use. So we select the add item, and in here you'll see the specification of an item ID. In here you can use underscores, letters and numbers. Item name of the actual pop, so make it relevant to where you're going to use it. You can enable the pop-up, you can choose a start date if you like. Then you can choose between a classic, which is a grey box, a slide-in pop, a tooltip or a quick tip. The padding settings, the width, the height, play around with these until you're happy with the size and shape of your actual plugin. But to begin with, when you're testing it out, just go with the defaults. It makes life easier for you. Likewise, you can change the background color and border. You can also make it transparent. You can choose the border width and radius. And you can also delay for seconds before showing the pop-up. If you put 0, it will be no delay. You can also, if you're going to show it on exit, check this box here, and we'll cover that in later videos. Action takes 0 for instant, or so many over a certain period of time, like half a second. And then also the wait. This is a days before displaying the pop-up again on a user basis. What you need to know here is this is actually based on a fractional time to the thousandth. So it was actually done as a decimal figure. So if we put in here 0.01, that would be about 15 minutes wait between pop-ups showing. If we leave it blank, then it will just show constantly to the user. Now the reason why you want to change this, and again, for testing, leave it as it is, test it out, and then once you're happy with the settings that are working as you want them to, you can then change this to delay. Now the reason why you might want to delay is if you're setting the pop-up to appear on all pages of your blog, for example, to remind someone of something or to get them to opt into your site, the last thing you want is it to keep constantly showing the actual pop-up to the user all the time. And every time they click a page or a post, it's putting their face over and over again. So by doing the wait here, it gives a bit of a break, so say 15 minutes or longer between showing the pop, and then that way the user won't constantly get the same pop-up showing to them the whole time through. When you've done that and you're ready, you've got the item name and ID, configuration, choose add item before moving on to the content. And I'll explain that to you in just a second. So what we want to do here is put in an item ID and name and the details. We're going to add the item. The wizard's going to tell us it's been successfully added to the database, and now we can click to go back into the actual item here. Now the reason why you want to do that is if you'd gone into content and started designing the plugin content and then actually just hit the save button up here, for example, it will save this but then take you back to this screen and all this information would have disappeared. So if you fill this out first and update, it will then be easier for you to actually administer the pop. So now we go into content and we can just design what appears here. Now in here you could show a video, you can put some text, you can put an opt-in box. It's entirely up to you what you put into here. Now in our case for this first demo, I'm just going to put in a headline for you and we can then test it and see how it works. You'll see with playing with what you see is what you get, the editor here. You can do things such as highlight it, we can change it, the font, like here I've got a heading, we can choose the font style, we can select sizes if we want to, we can change the text color or we can put a background highlighter. It's entirely up to you. So I've just done some basics for this one, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to update the item, but we don't want to actually go any further, so in our case we can just update the item and close. So there we have it, we've got our first classic pop set up. Over to the right here on the actions, we can edit if we want to, we can edit the pop, we can duplicate the pop, and we can delete the pop if we want to. Just for quickness, I'm going to duplicate one here. So it's taken us into a pop. First of all, I'm going to go into the spec, and I'm going to change the information on here. So I've changed it to slide pop, and we can now make it a slide one, which is going to give us some more options. And in my case, I want to come it from the top of the screen to the center of the screen. I'm going to keep the size and shape if I want to, but in this case, I'm going to make it bigger, 600 by 600. Come down. Let's change the border color. make it a bigger width. Going to also let this one delay. We're going to update the item. And you can see we've now got our slide. I just want to come back in here. And the reason for that is because we duplicated it, it's given us exactly the same pop-up. So in this case, I want to put something different in here. So let's say, for example, we wanted to show a YouTube video in our sliding. We select the video we want, choose to embed, and we've got the iframe here. We'll copy this, go back to our pop. Because I'm not actually writing here, I'm actually wanting to put in code. You want to choose the source, right click, paste, unclick the source, and you can see an iframe is in here, and we can then update and close. That's our slide pit. Let's now do a tooltip. So I'm going to duplicate the first one again. So I've written my content first. This is a sample of a tooltip pop, which is cool. Used for FAQ, help, tips, whatever you like. Go into the spec. Let's change the names. We'll call this one a tooltip. We're going to select it this time and make it a tooltip. This time we're going to track with the mouse. You can make it sticky. It's up to you. You can activate it on hover or on click. I'm going to leave it on hover. I'm going to change the information here. I'm going to make it 500 by 250. Let's change the border color to blue. We're happy with that. Now we can update the item and close. We've done our settings, and now we've actually created our pop-ups. Just quickly, I'm going to duplicate one more because there is a final option there, which is the quick tip. So this is the quick tip. We've given it a name. I'm going to make it a quick tip. We're going to leave these settings. Change the color this time. Let's make it a greenish color. Content. This is a quick tip. Back into the spec. So we're happy with that. We're now going to update the item and close. And here is our different pops ready. Now in the next videos, I'm going to show you how you use the pop-up pages and exit pages, and we'll move on from there. Thanks for watching.